Well, hello, you gorgeous beings. Welcome in. As you see, I'm probably not in my typical recording setup. And that's because we're not doing polished and prim and all that shit here. No. That's what led me to burnout. If you know my journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we're not doing that here. This is a fresh start. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Auric Blackwood. Literally changed my name this year, changed my whole identity. And I walked away from a whole brand, an 8-figure brand that was something I spent my whole life building up. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And some great times. But you know, when you wake up to your soul's purpose and kind of all the bullshit, you can't ignore it. And coming back to the camera, coming back to an audience and recording after going through all that stuff and basically going through a fucking death, it's been difficult. And just the having to put on a mask or perform behind a camera and gotta be 800 different things like producer and editor and this, that, and the other. When at the end of the day, nobody gives two shits really what it looks like. They care about what's coming out of your mouth and who's behind the camera. So coming back to it has been so difficult, and it's been almost like paralysis mode of trying to start this fucking channel. And I was like, got to the point where I was like, you know what? No, we're not letting perfection and chasing of perfection in what society tells you a YouTube channel has to be, a podcast has to be, an Instagram has to be, and all that stuff keep me from just getting on here, pressing fucking record and post. So you see me in all the reality on a webcam, a built-in webcam, not the fancy camera, not the fancy clothes, not the fancy lighting. Just me, raw and real, because in this chapter, that's how I want to show up. And that's how I want to show up for you, but I also want to start a new platform in the most raw and authentic way that I can. And sometimes that's literally just hopping on the computer, pressing record, and spilling your heart out. And so I start this YouTube channel as just that, as almost like a video diary for you all, where I'm going to be so raw and real about my journey in healing and coming through burnout. I mean, we going to laugh, don't get me wrong, because, honey, if we ain't laughing, I ain't doing it. But no bullshit editing. Yeah, there might be some professional videos and blah, 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 and all that stuff along the way, but I'm sick and tired of feeling like I have to be 800 million things in order to succeed now. And fuck it, you don't. So if it gets 1 view or if it gets 1 million views, like, we're bringing authenticity back. And on another platform, like with Instagram, trying to grow and grow and grow, and you just get beat down at every corner. Like, I used to, post something out there and boom. And you can't grow anything these days unless you pay for all this stuff. And I refuse to get caught up in the game. So I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to yell in deaf ears in an audience that really doesn't get where I'm at, I was like, start fresh. And that's what this YouTube is. It is me, raw and real, kind of talking with you all, almost like you're talking with your best friend, who just so happens to be a gay best friend, which is the best kind, so I'm just saying. So yeah, this is me. And I'm going to press post and not give two shits what happens. I'm just going to put it out there knowing that when I speak from an authentic place and I share my story, it always has helped other people relate, make them feel not alone, make them feel like there's hope, laugh along the way. And so that's what this is going to be. I don't edit, so fuck off. If you're just tuning in and finding me, then strap in, Buttercup. You'll get to know me along the way. If you know me from socials, from the old platform, then you know what you're in for. But my first video, I wanted to take some time and kind of talk about something that no one really talks about. nobody really talks about the part of like after the success. You know, people like a Phoenix Rising story, but like they don't like the nitty gritty. We always hear the Phoenix Rising, the comeback, and like, ooh, this, that, and the other. But people don't really understand or get to see the part where like, yeah, the Phoenix might be rising, but like they're not seeing it like where the ashes basically cling to your fucking lungs and you feel like you're dying and you can't fucking breathe. So it's the part of like coming out of burnout after success and what it feels like healing after that, and trying to find yourself again when you lose yourself in success and you lose your identity in what you do instead of just being a human being, like getting caught up in the noise and what you kind of go through. And it's what I'm going through. But I don't see anybody talking about it. They glamorize the highlight reel. They glamorize all the bullshit and all the good, and it makes everybody feel like life is just one big fucking party and like happy cake, when really it's fucking hard. It is hard. And nobody posts that or really shares about that. So I'm going to dig in the trenches with you and kind of let you know what I've been up to, what it feels like, the stuff about healing, especially after success, that really nobody talks about. You know, like, I had big success. I was one of the top injectors in the country in aesthetics. Like, I'm telling you, 8-figure brand. And you can hop on my podcast and there's season 1, which is old school me, and season 2, which is the new chapter. But that'll give you like a little background of your boy here. But I had massive success in that industry. And I built this brand, this identity around this persona per se. And it was great. I had a blast and it was a fun time. And it led me to where I'm at today. So I'm not bitching on that part. But sometimes that success costs you. And when you're not paying attention, the universe can rip you awake real quick, which is what happened with me. Especially when you have a soul purpose. You know, I was doing talks and filler, but now we're doing soul talks. You know, it's deeper than that. And so I built this big thing up, but then I just couldn't, I let it fucking crumble. And I talk about that in the first episode, season 2 of The Tea with Auric B. You can find it on all the podcast platforms. I'll tag the Apple below. But after that success, and I let it crumble because like I just couldn't put the fucking mask on anymore. And kind of started doing my calling with, you know, converting my clinic into a healing sanctuary called Haus of Alchemy, and had this call to really help not only aesthetic individuals kind of get out of burnout and run their business on their terms and show that they can have a life and business that they design that doesn't have to like run them ragged or to death, or that you have to be a puppet in the system to be able to do. That's with aesthetic alchemy within Haus of Alchemy. But then, you know, to really help people heal from the inside out with their emotions. Like, I call myself an emotional alchemist. And honey, I'm doing my own emotional alchemy right now, because our emotions are what's fucking us up. And we're going to really be talking a lot about that on this channel, and like how you can remove yourself from trapped emotions. I'm going to help you do it and get us in a happy place again, my darlings. But after that success, like, when I stopped doing the thing that defined me, I mean, it was me. I was wrapped up in that old identity. It was who I was. One day you wake up and you're like, who the fuck am I? Like, what do I like? What do I do? You know what I mean? And once you stop doing the thing that defined you and you lose that, you know, it feels great at first because you're like, oh my God, I don't have to put on the mask, and like crying and just feeling like, oh, like finally freedom on that end. But the part they don't talk about is that, you know, switching gears, unniching yourself is like a fucking shock to the system. And it feels like death when you lose that identity. Like, I didn't know who I was without that mask on. My nervous system was so wired for constant external validation on social media, you know, with followers, for patients, the applause on stage, proof, social proof that I had made it, all these things. But when that stopped, my body fucking panicked. And it was so unnerving and literally I just remember like it was mourning the loss of someone, because it literally was. It was like when you are somebody for 11 years and you're no longer that person, but it's wrapped up in every fucking thing that you do. It feels like a death, straight up death. And to my subconscious, like it was losing that recognition feels like losing safety. That mask, that talk Josh mask, was so comforting and so, I knew it. I knew my success. I could name something and get it. I could, if I wanted to speak here, I would mention my name. Boom. Mentioning my name's got me in rooms. It got me brand deals. It got me all this stuff. And when you losing that recognition, like feels like losing a safety net. And nobody tells you that healing after success isn't just about finding balance again. Because honey, you fucked up on balance. You over here like you can barely walk. It's like you've had 20 cases of Jaeger and you just can't even find yourself. That's what it felt like for me. But it's not just, finding the balance. It's grieving the death of a persona that once protected you, the one that got you through, the one that hid everything for a while and made you realize like, oh, this is great. If I'm Talks Josh, I don't have to be Josh at the time. Literally changed my name legally in January. And looking back on it, like Talks Josh was the way. It was survival. It was built to thrive, to be seen, to be heard. But now, trying to exist without that mask, honey, God, that's not peace. It's disorienting as hell. And it has been really, really difficult. And nobody talks about what that's like. You think like, oh, you can just like drop that and then change gears and then expect people to get it, and they don't. And when your nervous system is tied to that level of visibility, and it's tied to your worth is how many followers you have, how many likes you have, how many comments you have, what you do, what you produce, and how many patients you can see in one day, and how many conferences can you speak at, and how much can you run yourself ragged, like it's very unnerving. And I have been mourning the death of that and not really knowing what the fuck to do. Like I've done my podcast and I love that, but like this channel, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, I don't quite know what this new, like Auric, his voice. I know what he wants to do and I see the big picture and I know I have a calling for that. But I'm hoping this channel and doing this will help not only me find my voice, but also you out there. If you've been in that same situation, you know exactly what it's like and you're not alone. And maybe I can help you as I'm helping me find yourself again. The new you, without performative, without the mask, without wrapping yourself in an identity, that ties yourself to your worth. So I'm really working on my nervous system a lot. And that's been, real fun, because my nervous system in the past only knew adrenaline. Like it literally only knew adrenaline. If I was like, it was like, yes, boom, 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 boom. Yes, go, 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 go. When deep inside, I was a fucking shit show and didn't realize it. When you live on momentum, all the deadlines, all the launches, constant creation, constant output, constant pressure that you got to be on social media, stillness starts to feel like failure. It does. And when you sit in calm and your brain screams, you're failing, you're worthless, you gotta be doing, you can't be sitting still, what is this, because your body is addicted to cortisol, then you're like, okay, well, I gotta go, but like, I'm not gonna hop back in there. And it's so like, oh, well, maybe that's all I can do. Maybe that's it, because if I do anything else, it's just meet with, a dead end road. Not realizing that the universe is being like, bitch, I'm gonna sit your ass down and make you pay attention to yourself and focus on you before anything else hits. But when you're not used to that, and you go from all the success to removing yourself from it to, fuck, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for a paycheck. What am I gonna do? It's over. I would rather do a Brazilian with duct tape than go through this shit. And that's the hidden detox period that nobody talks about. It's this liminal space of like, I'm not who I was. And I'm not quite who I want to be, because I'm still figuring out who the fuck that is. So yeah, that's been very much something that I don't see people talking about. But you know me, I'm going to spill the tea on it. It feels like withdrawing from success as a stimulant. And what I'm chasing now, I want success that's calm, that comes from alignment, that comes from being a loud voice for the good and not a loud voice just to get likes and attention. To help people not just outside with their confidence, but on the inside really transform their life. And yeah, but at the same time, I realize I'm still doing that myself. But that doesn't mean I can't document it along the way and hopefully help some people know that they're not alone with this. And the thing is like when you're caught up in the mask and the noise, the intuition, I realize it doesn't come back very loud. You're like, oh, I'm going to start meditating and all this stuff. I'm going to try to find myself again. Bitch, that voice is so silent. So silent. It's almost non-existent because when you sit in silence, it's like you're so used to the noise that it's just disorienting and you're like, where's my voice even, So it's like after you're having a breakdown or a wake-up moment, you think spiritual awakening, which I went through. You think like, oh, I'm going to have this big aha moment, but it does not shout. It literally whispers. And it's very hard to hear when you're not literally listening to your intuition. You're just bypassing that with success and more things and do and all that. So when you're so used and you live in that success for that long, silence feels like failure. And that's not safe. And it's been getting emotional. It's been the hardest thing. Like, I know I need to sit with myself and I know I need to do the things and all that stuff. But when you're so used to it, sitting with yourself feels so foreign. It feels like if I'm not doing, I'm not, it's so like, why are you meditating? Fuck that. Like, get back on socials, get on stage. This is going to do nothing for you. What are you doing? Like, you're failing. You're not doing because you're not doing, you're not outputting, you're not performing and all that stuff. So it makes you feel like you're second guessing yourself. And like, honestly, it makes me feel like I lost my magic. Like, and I know I haven't, it's just recalibrating to this new way, but it still doesn't make it fucking easy. Untying yourself. And, I had my career as an entrepreneur, but like maybe you've tied yourself to a career for 20 years and you're sick and tired of it and want to tell your boss to go choke on a bag of dicks and leave, So, but nobody talks about this ugly side of it, like they don't. Not to mention the feeling of like feeling like you're lazy as fuck. Like, when you do nothing, when you're tied to God to do, and you finally sit still and like, heaven forbid, I watch American Horror Story Coven again, over Halloween week this past week and binge and do nothing. Your body feels like, and your mind's like, you lazy son of a bitch, But in reality, you're really just learning self-trust and to be like, hey, we can rest and do nothing, and that's okay. When your output used to equal your worth, rest feels wrong. And what I'm learning is that rest is the work. Listen to that again. Rest is the work. I tell myself that every single time I stop and catch myself. Like, nope, gotta do. And be like, rest is the work, And that helps anchor me in. But, healing after all of that stuff, getting in just your nervous system and trying to get out of that constant go. It's been like I've had to unlearn that performance is not love. Performance for the sake of your mental health and your energy tank being drained and all that stuff, that's not love. The claps and everything on the stage, that's not love if it's costing you your soul. You're teaching your body that safety doesn't come from doing. And that's very hard to do when your body has been constantly doing, constantly traveling, constantly training, constantly saying yes. Because yes equals more money, more success. Oh, I've made it. Safety, for me, I'm trying to learn comes from just being and sitting still and training my nervous system. You're okay just as you are. You don't have to perform. You don't have to do that today. You don't have to put on the mask, all of that stuff. That safety, it comes from just being, not a human doing, but a human being. And that is a fucking terrifying lesson for a high achiever. Like you high achievers out there, like, it's awful. Because you're like, I gotta succeed, gotta do. But that's, and realizing when you wake up, like, to the conditioning that you've been on, like, you gotta constantly perform. You gotta have that nice job. You gotta have the bigger car, have the bigger home. Oh, you get that mountain. Nope, can't stop there. You gotta do more. You gotta climb the ladder. You gotta be the top you can be. Oh, now you gotta have the bigger house to keep up. Oh, they're gonna look like all that stuff. Gotta have the new Gucci bag. It's all a condition. And when you strip that away from a high achiever, it's hell on earth, hell in your body. Like, you don't know yourself without achieving. So that has been not fun. And I think, okay, some downloads. You'll see that some psychic abilities have unlocked with me over the past years. And there it flew the coop. When you take away the high achieving part of it, the constantly doing from the high achiever, it really tears down their whole being. Because without achieving something, who are they? Like, who are we? Without the goals and aspirations, who are we as people? That one flew the coop. I really got to get that one back because it was really fucking good. But the high achieving, and it's okay to want goals and all that stuff, but not at the cost of losing who you are. And when you stop the performing and you stop chasing that achievement, it's disorienting at first, but somewhere along the way, you start to learn to define success from the inside out. And that, my darlings, is kind of the real metamorphosis. And realizing that the high achieving sometimes, and I think a lot of times, comes from a deeper rooted issue. For me, it was the fact that, like, I've been overachieving since I was in middle school, because that was the time, late elementary school, early middle school, when I was like, I like boys, I'm gay, I'm in East Tennessee, ooh, this isn't okay. I don't want them to find out. So I'm going to be the top of the top of the top of the top and the best of the best of the best and do, because if I'm doing, oh, look at that achievement. They love it. They are clapping. Yes. And they will not see this thing that I'm trying to shove down deep. But also, I won't have to face that either. And I think a lot of times overachievers and high achieving people, there's some deep-rooted causes, especially when they do it in a way that leads them to burnout, because it's a facade, a mask to prevent them from really looking in the mirror at who they truly are. I know it was for me. So yeah, it's been a journey of undoing, unlearning, stripping off the mask that's been super glued to my fucking face, and sitting with it. And the best that I can say is it feels like a fucking death that people don't realize, like, that you go through. And it's like, oh, woe is you, heaven forbid. But you know what? If you don't like my journey, tune out. You don't have to tune in. But the thing that I'm learning to do is give myself grace, is allow myself to grieve that of what I worked my ass off for 11 years to build and was beautiful and all that I knew. At the same time, also giving myself grace that it's okay for me not to know what stillness looks like right now. for me to know what it's, like when I come in today, or just the other day, I came in to be productive, got to work on my things. And I'm from October 1st to December 31st, I gave myself 3 months to be in fuck it mode. I was able to get through and have a little success earlier this year and get the savings up and be like, you know what? I'm blessed to be able to do that. So I'm going to say fuck it for 3 months and just focus on me. And honey, I'm here to tell you, it has been the hardest thing because I haven't even really focused on me, it doesn't feel like. But then I gotta give myself grace because I am journaling. I am doing the meditations. And again, that's the old me telling me you're not doing enough. And sometimes it's just getting out of bed and making a cup of tea and going right back to bed. And that's fucking enough for that day. And I'm learning to give myself grace through that. And I hope you do too if you're going through this. Or you can relate, like give yourself grace. You're human. You've been caught up in the matrix. You've been caught up in the game. And it's very disorienting. I see you. I hear you. I know exactly what it's like. If you've been through it, leave me a comment below. But yeah, that's the stuff that people don't talk about. That's the stuff that's gross and ick and not fun. It's not flashy. It doesn't get the likes. It doesn't get the shares. It's not the stupid white girl TikTok dance. It's so fucking ridiculous. I could choke. Ugh. Yeah. So, not your typical first YouTube video, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm in my press record. Say what you want to say. Be authentic as fuck. Get back on that path. And press post. If you're a creator out there listening to this, I urge you to do the same thing. Stop worrying about the numbers. I'm still learning to do that. I'll probably post this and get 2 likes or 2 views and be like, damn it, I'm worthless. When usually I would post something, get 75,000 views, like 13.3 million views. So I'm still unlearning that. So this is literally an experience and an experiment on finding myself again and unattaching myself from all the bullshit and the standards and all that stuff and the perfectionism and the likes and the like counts. If this video gets 1 person and it helps them, then you know what? It was worth sitting here for 30 minutes and talking to you about it. So, and I urge you, don't stay silent if you're going through this. Talk about it. Can't feel those feelings. That's what fucks you up, which you'll learn about on this channel. Just talk about it. Talk about it with you. Talk about it with a rock, a pillow, a tree. Go out in nature, whatever you need to do. Just talk about it. And the more you talk about it and not suppress it, faster you kind of go through it. So, I hope this helps. Welcome in. Probably not the first video you're expecting, but I don't care. It is. It's going to be raw and real. I also have my podcast on here, so you can watch it visually, which is great. I'm going to be launching the community here soon, and you can take part of it. Anyone's welcome. It's going to be pay as you can. So I'll have different tiers that'll be really low to if you want to support your boy here. And if you're in aesthetics, you'll have Aesthetic Alchemy that you can join and also take the Evergreen course. So lots of ways that we can stay in cahoots with one another. Yeah. So I'm going to be getting on here doing tarot readings. I'm going to show my witchy self. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the poly closet. I'm out of the gay closet. Clearly, I love a closet, bitches. So yeah, and I'm just going to let this channel evolve into what it needs to be. And hoping along the way of utilizing my voice, I'll find my voice. And so thanks for tuning in. If this message was helpful and you know somebody who uses it, share it. All the typical things. Like, subscribe, comment, help me out. And yeah, that's the shit that people don't talk about healing after massive success and walking away from it. So anyways, here's to some fucking incredible things that we're going to do. Here is to this new chapter, this new platform, and new vulnerability, and a new way of going through life on my terms, not what they say I have to do. So, anyways. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.